What happened to your voice?
2 McChickens.
2 McChickens.
Maybe 3.
Okay, you keep going up.
I have the coronavirus, that's why I don't have a voice. So clean the mic after this or you will get it.
Alright, I thought that was hilarious. I wanted to share it with people who are not in the free newsroom or my Twitter. Alright, so prior to this video, I made another video for about an hour, and I didn't hit the record button or something happened. So I'm just exhausted and livid, and I did a really good job, so hopefully I could do it again. And I could do it quicker now. So I'm going to cover a lot of things, just all kinds of things. Everything that I've missed in the past 5 days because I haven't uploaded a video. I uploaded a bunch of videos for the private members, but not for the YouTube channel. So, man, it sucks because I did such a good job. 2.3 trillion was printed last week, just another one. There'll be more, you'll see. I'll talk about Japanification, the US, bonds, metals, currency, news, what's going on in general, and my thoughts and opinions. Consult your licensed financial advisor. I am not a licensed financial advisor. Consult them before doing anything. Stocks, everything. Extremely volatile, extremely risky. Do not invest in anything you're not willing to lose or lose sleep over. Alright? This channel is more about me giving you guys my opinion about the economy and, what's going on. And, trading. Learning how to trade. So, Orange Man, not so bad. And they want to reopen as soon as possible, because the longer they wait, there's no chance of reopening because there won't be anything to reopen to, and it's going to be that bad. So where was I? This guy actually came out and said all these companies should be allowed to fail. Absolutely. They get restructured. People who invested lose their money, as they should. And the employees actually have a less likelihood of losing their jobs because new owners will come in, buy everything pennies on the dollar, and they might actually manage the business properly, as it should be. Not by CEOs who do corporate stock buybacks so they get bigger bonuses, right? Because they all knew they were going to get bailed out, just like last time. Because you want to know why? They know what I know. They know the Fed has no choice but to bail everyone out. If not, it's pitchforks and torches, literally. We're just losing our freedoms. Okay, so a bunch of lefties and socialists keep posting this, and they're like, see, capitalism has failed. No, you idiot. The economy was shut down. Okay, yes, the correction was going to come anyways. I was talking about it late 2019 in December and January and August. The correction was going to come anyways, right? That's because it's a bubble, and the fundamentals showed it. The technical analysis showed it. I kept telling you guys, it's going up and up and up, but this is the blow off top, and then it's going to fall down an elevator chute because, markets go up on a wall of worry, so steps, and then it comes down in an elevator, but this time I was saying elevator chute. Anyways, this is the disconnect of the stock market versus the real economy because, well, we have central banking and all of that funny money goes into stocks. It's where the inflation goes. But all of that's going to go into our pockets, the guys who are in the private group. It's going to go to us eventually. And I'm talking, if just 1% of it goes into our pockets, that'll be the largest wealth transfer ever. You just have to be a little patient, but we're already seeing the beginning stages of it. If this doesn't make you mad, there's something wrong with you. And not necessarily a golf course, but parks and whatnot. You know? But you know what? I am hopeful. People are waking up and they're getting mad. I do not see this lasting 3 more weeks without everyone saying the hell with it. Alright? And it's kind of good that they're doing all this because they're overhyping it. And this comes from smaller state level and globally. You see them going into people's homes, this and that. And the general public, the masses, are waking up. They're waking up due to this. At least I freaking hope so. Anyways, you have breadlines. And I warned about breadlines and people wouldn't take it seriously. And they're like, we won't see that. Yeah, well, look at this. Now we see breadlines and people in their $30,000 cars that they don't own, they lease or they make payments on, or probably don't make payments anymore but because they can't. And now we see have breadlines in the U.S., right? So, and you know, the supply chain's breaking down, and we see farmers having to, if they do price controls, what that'll end up doing, they did it in the 1930s, you'll see shortages of food. Why? Because when there's price controls, you can't grow it at a profit, so therefore you can't grow it because you don't make any money, and you lose money growing food and making food. So therefore they just stop making food, or they literally burn the crops, or just... Anyways, that's why price controls don't work, not even on anything. And the global supply chain, just on time shipping, you know, it's in complete disarray. Foreign countries, your bananas and fruits and meats and everything, a lot of it comes from abroad, and it comes just on time shipping because they save 5 cents, the companies. And this is what globalism has led to, a very fragile, super complex system that could get easily taken down, especially by this crisis. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is food's gonna go up, and you're gonna see shortages on shelves. Not of everything. I mean, of certain things. We'll see. We'll see how bad it really gets. I'm not exactly certain. But yeah, this is gonna go down in the history books, and this is just the beginning. It's gonna get worse. Major central bank balance sheets exploding. The red one is the Fed, the U.S. Fed. Okay, so this was a funny meme, but it just shows you the absurdity. Okay, people who rat out other people, we've seen this in history, right? And when did we see this in history? Well, in China, where 40 million were eradicated. Russia, Germany. I can't say specific words, right? There's channels being taken down right now, all across the platform. So I can't say certain words, but you guys understand what I'm trying to say. Hopefully, if you don't, unsubscribe, leave. This is above you. This came out by who made this chart? I have to give him credit. Morgan Stanley. So we're looking at this peaking out right about now, and then tapering off all the way into late July and August, and then possibly a second wave. This, I do believe, is going to happen, and there's already studies coming out saying that the warm weather doesn't actually slow it down. I believe it does slow it down if it gets above a certain temperature. I believe I posted this in the newsroom weeks ago. It was, I think, above 180 degrees, it'll stop it. But UV rays, it does slow it down. It's just not substantially enough, right? It's still gonna spread. And I do believe it's real. And I do also believe it's being hyped. You could believe multiple things. I believe it's being hyped. I believe it's being used to bring in Blade Runner world, all right? I do believe it's, nefarious things are going on. But I also believe it does exist. how virulent is it? How I don't know. Because there's more information coming out today. I'll talk about that later. Anyways, there will probably be a second wave. So this will kind of be a new normal. Listen. But all this could have been avoided, right? Now listen. I knew about this January 18th. It was going to be the Black Swan event. I knew this was going to spread all over the world. I knew this January 18th. They knew before me. I mean, we spend billions on intelligence, supposedly, if they weren't, part of it. But let's say my belief is the most likely thing that happened here was China stole the stuff, either accidentally or purposely let it loose, knowing that it would come to the U.S. and cause major damage. Or it was even higher level up super elites who planned this all. But this works in benefit for China, right? Because they could lock everyone down and get away with it, and they don't care about their own people whatsoever. And they have a very crazy control structure there. But it's also here now in the U.S., and this is an excuse to create it, right? The drones and everything, and all right. So the U.S. and China have been in economic warfare since for many years now. Every country has had currency manipulation. It's global currency wars. James Rickards wrote a book on it in 2011. Very good book, and it's pretty much all come true. And this was possibly an attack. Or if it was an accident, they didn't warn the U.S. because they wanted the U.S. to, get hit. 500,000 Chinamen came to the U.S., okay, in the month of January. So okay. I'm done talking about that for now. But those are my theories. Ben Bernanke is an idiot. He's one of the main reasons we're in this mess, because the Fed cannot unwind its balance sheet, and it literally has no choice but to keep printing. I'll talk more about that later. CME and LBMA, they're getting together, and they're pretty much, they don't want to disclose how much physical they have. If this isn't all the evidence you need that the futures market is basically, for metals, for silver and gold, is completely rigged, then I don't know what else you need. So metals went up that day when this came out. This headline came out, and for a good reason. The futures markets will blow up. It's not if, but the matter. It's not when, but if. It's not if, but when. It's only a matter of time. Should be soon, I'm hoping. Orange Man, listen, I feel like they may have given him bad intelligence in the beginning of this, so he also downplayed it, but he was very quick to change and cut off flights and do all kinds of things. And now he's advocating to reopen the economy, which they are not. They want lockdown for many months, and then if they were successful to run the economy and tell Orange Man what to do, we would not have an economy to come back to. It would just be Walmart and Amazon, which I'll come to in a minute. Cash Carey, Minneapolis Reserve Chairman. This guy's been on Twitter just making fun of gold bugs, and just says the darnest things. MMT promoter, all this and that. He had an interview, and he pretty much said, yeah, it's no problem. We could print endless money. It's unbelievable. Anyways, he's advocating to get ready for 18 months. That's insanity. There's no way pitchforks and torches could come out in 3 weeks, not 18 months from now. It's insane. 18 months from now, there would be nothing left. I mean, what are people going to do? Everything will break down if this lockdown goes that long. There will be no economy after that. It'll be as bad as you could imagine. But it just shows you how intelligent they are. Just absolute I don't know if it's because of the bubble they live in or what, or it's that nefarious. I don't know. But anyways, if they are successful, we'll just get this. And you know what? I'm okay with that. Because this leads to freedom. Dangerous, dangerous freedom. But nevertheless, you have freedom. I made a poll in the newsroom, and I asked people, would you sacrifice 100 million for humanity to be free and to be prosperous, like economically, and freedom leads to prosperous economics, by the way, to wealth. It's in direct correlation, guys. And it was kind of stunning. A lot of people, I would say about 60% said yes, reluctantly yes. And then there was the rest said no, I can't decide, which is a large percentage for the people in my newsroom who see the information I give them, which they should be smarter than that. I was hoping for an 80 or 90% yes. And I even put in the answer no, even if more people would perish and we would lose all our freedoms, right? If the economy totally imploded, which just shows you the lack of. It's very disheartening how dumb people are, even in my newsroom. And this is why most of you won't make it. And I won't feel bad. And if that's the people in my newsroom, well, the normies are way worse. And it's funny. It's a trick question, right? Because in history, hundreds and hundreds of millions, if not a billion people have sacrificed their own lives willingly so their kids could have freedom and a prosperous future. And that just shows you how empires rise and fall. And I'm not saying everyone in the newsroom's U.S. They're not. But, the good times have been rolling for many decades now. And it shows you how weak men have become and society has become mentally, physically, work ethic. Not everyone. There's a lot of people who still have good work ethic and everything, but it's definitely not the majority. Not anymore. That's why everyone's fat. Anyways, the weak men will bring hard times. That's why I'm saying. In a way, society as a whole will choose their demise or rise. And I see it, guys. I see it. I should have brought that meme up. But you guys know what I mean. The meme is hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. The good times create weak men. The weak men create hard times. And the cycle goes over and over. And this is the tale of empires and everything. It's very cyclical. Small businesses lays off jumps 1,000% in March. It's the backbone of the economy. Who owns small businesses? The middle class and the upper middle class. Why is the upper middle class and the middle class a threat to centralization and big gov and monopoly corporations and this and that, the elite? Because they have resources to fight back. They could buy lawyers. They could buy. They have resources to fight back, and they could get the truth out. They could create media companies, whatnot, and they're more self-reliant. They could buy land and become more self-sufficient. They also rise everyone up financially, right? And when people have something to lose, the middle class has something to lose, and the upper middle class. And not just that, they get, they get taxed to death. And they want less centralization, a less elitism and bureaucracy, right? So they're a threat to the control structure. So they don't mind putting them all out of business. Not just that, the mega corporations, Walmart, Amazon, they will thrive and keep their monopolies if all the small businesses and mid-sized businesses go under. Because the larger a corporation becomes, a bigger monopoly, the more complex, the more bureaucratic, slow-moving, less innovative it becomes. The smaller businesses take more risk, they're more lean and mean, and they become more innovative, and then they start taking market share from the mega corporations. And that's why they're hyping this, and they want the lockdowns to go longer. It kind of takes a couple agendas, right? They get rid of Orange Man, they get rid of small businesses, and then the elites rule the world with mega corps and mega global governance and enslave all of us, and Blade Runner type of world, Elysium type of world comes about. And if you haven't watched those movies, they're good movies, something to watch while you can't leave your house, prison. So I want to talk about this. This isn't the time. Okay, this isn't appropriate in my opinion. Yes, they're first responders, they're saving our lives, whatever, but come on. There's hundreds of videos, hundreds if not thousands of this going on. They have a lot of time on their hands, and they're using they're using health equipment to do freaking choreographed videos that probably take a lot of time to prep for, and it's just inappropriate in my opinion. Listen, I went to a garden shop a few weeks ago, and the girl who was getting me my seeds, we sparked up conversation. It took a while for her to get me like 50 or 100 different seeds, different types, so I could bring it to my mom so she could start a garden. By the way, my mom, I told her not to go through radiation because this crisis was coming, and she didn't, which was a good choice because it would have weakened her immune, right? So, and it magically disappeared, but I gave her all the nutraceuticals and all that, which is good. But the girl I was talking to at this garden shop, her dad had cancer, just had it, and he needed chemo, and they told him no, he can't come in. Now, how do you think she feels, and her father and their family, when they see these videos? I pray for them. I hope everything works out. I mean, she was very smart, very self-reliant. She knew how to plant and do all the organic stuff, and take the right stuff. But that's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's not the time. Like, I get it. They have some downtime. Okay, well, you don't have to make videos that go public. There's people, losing their lives. It's just not. Anyways, so this was being floated out. China has like over $1 trillion of US bonds. If they decide to sell that tonight, the dollar will crash. Gold will go to like, who knows, and it'll blow up the US economy. They might do that anyways because they need the cash themselves, but they are also printing trillions of yuan themselves. They could also just let it roll off their balance sheet. And it's being floated out, well, why don't we just make the bonds they hold null and void? Like, they can't sell it, it's worthless. To pay for them lying about this crisis that's coming, which they did lie about. But in a way, the U.S. knew too, as well. And they're already in economic warfare, so it's not actually making things worse. It's things are going to get worse anyways. By the way, when there's always a rising empire, they always end up, not always, but most of the time they end up going to war. So, can they do that? Is it right to do that? I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. Screw it. At this point, I mean, if you're gonna, things aren't gonna get better between, you know, between us. And like I said, you don't know. Maybe they let it loose on purpose, so it does hit the U.S. and Europe, and they plan on coming out stronger and becoming the next world superpower. So, I mean, gloves are going to come off anyways. It's only a matter of time. It's not if, but when. So, that might not be a bad idea. And it should be... Could it work? Maybe. So, I wrote this. I already said this. This could have all been avoided. Maybe maybe they were telling Orange Man it was fine, everything was going to be fine early on to discredit him, because there's videos of him saying this in late January. I knew January 18th. This could have all been avoided very easily, very easily. During World War II, I mean, they made tanks and submarines and ships and planes within weeks to prepare. You think the U.S. in a couple weeks or even a month prior, because we knew about this we knew about this in probably December, if not earlier, because they were having mock event. They're preparing for this. I posted it a long time ago in the newsroom, but they literally did I can't even say the word because of the algos, and they'll ban the video, right? But they were doing mock trials of this in late October or something like that in 2019. What I'm trying to say is they were preparing for this. I mean, it's not that big of a deal to get a couple major companies or even mid-sized companies, or even just alert the public and have them make makeshift masks. You could take your furnace filter, you could cut it up into a bunch of squares, smaller squares, and press a sphere into it and tie 2 rubber bands to it, and boom, you pretty much have an N95 mask. Oh, well, it depends on the filter, but you have something, right? I mean, you could take a couple of them, right? And companies could have made these. I swear to God, in 3 weeks they could have made 300 million masks for the U.S. population, and there wouldn't have been a lockdown, and there wouldn't have been 17 million people losing their jobs, and probably more later on, and every small business going under. But you need an excuse, right, to bail out the megacorps, the banks, Wall Street, and to print endless to bail out probably pensions, everything under the sun. You need an excuse. And to get the free cash. And who pays for that? The average folks. Who get crumbs, get $1,200. They'll probably get a little more later. But no one's gotten it so far that I know of. So you have the excuse. And then it's also an excuse to roll out, control grid, spy, apps that track you, and the phones track you, drones coming into your home, can't allow you. It's making a new normal of you not being able to move around. Like checkpoints everywhere. You know what I'm saying. So this could have all been avoided. I knew January 18th that I made videos. I said this will be a black swan. This will spread everywhere. Then and there, they could have decided to start making masks, and everyone would have had enough. by, I don't know, mid-March? Or no, mid, mid-April. Or no, yeah. So, that's, it is what it is. I mean, I warn people, I tell them, and nobody listens to me. These press briefings are just unbelievable. I mean, it's so obvious to the public what's going on here. I mean, this might all backfire, and I'm still holding on to some hope that the masses, that this all backfires. Everything they're doing right now is just going to piss people off, especially once they lose their standard of living, their jobs, and everything. I don't think this is going to work out for the elites. I think this will be, it's not a conspiracy that every crisis is used to take away and to control you even more. That's what's always happened in human history, guys. And I'm just hoping that the public gets mad enough to not let this happen. Okay? That we lose our freedoms and this becomes a new normal. Orange Man is letting drive up purchases of self-protection nationwide, making it essential. So I don't care what you say about him, if he wouldn't allow that to happen. All right. So this company and the other company, they want you to download an app, and this play on the word is hilarious by Dave Collum. Awesome. Walmart, who's been putting out small businesses for decades now and taking cheap Chinese crap and being a huge part of gutting the US. They're the only place you're allowed to go and shop now. Or that's what a lot of states want. Mainly lefty governors. Just think about that. Hotels, resorts, they're not coming back, guys. Back to normal for a very long time. They're all going to get bailouts, though. Obesity. Well, you chose your life. If you're going to eat high fructose corn syrup and crappy foods and not take care of yourself. For one, this what makes me really mad about large people. You are an example for the younger generations. And you are a horrible example. You are epitome of decadence. Unless you really do have some sort of disease, there is no excuse. You could always make time. Always. But people choose, it's even in the Bible, don't be a glutton. Listen. I mean, this is just basic. I mean, it's embarrassing. I get that the food is crap. Well, you could choose to not eat it. You could choose. I have a link below my videos for organic meat delivered to your house. It's just a little bit more expensive, but you know what's really expensive? Ending up in the hospital or your life, right? This is going to bankrupt the U.S. alone. Just all the large people. And I don't feel sorry for any of them. And they tried normalizing it in the past few years. Are you shitting me? This is the tail end of empires. When people get fat, stupid, and lazy. Weak men bring the hard times. The hard times bring strong men. The strong men create the good times. And the good times create weak men again. And women. Well, here we are. We're at the tail end. We're at the end now. And the universe will in a weird way always give everyone what they deserve. All right? So now would be a good time to maybe, some good things might come out of this. Maybe people will if you're allowed to jog, you can't even go outside. If you're allowed to jog, it's your human right to be able to jog outside. You're not even around people. Go out and get some exercise. Eat healthy. You think better. You feel better. You look better. You are what you eat. Your brain consumes like 70% of the calories you eat. If you eat crap, you can't even think properly. That probably explains why the masses are so dumb now. Anyways, I'm done. If I offended you, F off. Smash the thumb down, unsubscribe, get out. Alright. The Tiger King. I really hope he does it. If he does it, it's a brilliant move, and I think he might. You should watch it. It's pretty fascinating. It's crazy. Crazy. India. Big deal. Big deal. This is basically de-dollarizing, going back to the gold standard globally. Right? And so you guys understand this. 2.5% interest on bonds also helps banks create CDs. And your grandparents back in the day, they say, well, we used to work really hard and we used to save money. And then you try to explain to them, hey, asshole, I cannot save money because inflation's running at like probably 5% year over year. But back in your day, all you had to have is a work ethic and you made a living. One person could take care of an entire family. And if you saved money, you would get crazy amounts of interest on it by just putting it in the bank, or even more if you put in the CD. You get like 5% year over year. Well, 5% compounded adds up to a retirement. And then when you have savings, you could take advantage of opportunities when they come around, and that's how people become upper middle class or the 1%. The purpose of having a savings is not for a rainy day, but it is as well. But if you have a savings, you could take advantage of huge opportunities. For example, right now, homes are probably going to lose like 60 to 70% of their value. So are cars. If you have savings, you could scoop that up. And then maybe a few decades from now, sell that home for double. But they don't teach you that shit in school because they're ran by lefties. All right. This really makes me angry. Hedge fund managers are claiming bailouts of small businesses. They should all go to jail. If you're doing this, you're scum. Because the small poor person is going to bail out the hedge fund manager who is taking on risk they shouldn't have. Of course, everyone's taking on more risk than they should because of artificially low interest rates. You can't find yield anywhere because the central bank's pushing down the yield on bonds. But asking for a bailout, claiming you're a small business, I mean, this is disgusting. They should not be bailed out. This is, you know what this is? This is privatizing the gains, socializing the losses. And this is why we're going to have massive inflation. And Main Street, this poor person who just lost their job, is going to pay for this? Or who's going to pay for this? That's the question. That's why we're going to have massive inflation, guys. Who's going to pay for this? No one. Yeah, the same people from 2008 got bailed out. A lot of the CEOs, record amounts in 2018 and 19, were retiring. They see the charts I see. They're not stupid. They pretend to be, and they cheer on the bull market. Meanwhile, in the background, they're selling and they're buying physical metals, and they're the smart money loading up on mining stocks. Go to my website before it's too late. And join the private group. I do charts, learn to trade. I share my trades so you guys could see how it's done and you could learn. And then, we talk about all sorts of opportunities in mining stocks. And I look at balance sheets and everything. Matter of fact, we have some awesome life-changing opportunities. What else? There's a great example of price controls and nationalizing everything. Because the Fed joined the Treasury Department, which is pretty much illegal. But, what are laws anymore? The laws are for us, not for them. When you nationalize everything, you destroy all those companies. Good example is Venezuela has the largest oil reserves, and they have a shortage of gas and oil because their government took over and they nationalized it, and now they have shortages. I don't want to go into it, but one of the greatest quotes ever by economist Milton Friedman once said, if you put the feds in charge of the Sahara Desert, in 5 years there would be a shortage of sand. He was also the one who said helicopter money, which now they say as if it's a thing. He was joking. It's unbelievable. This really makes me angry. 7.5 million small businesses are at risk of closing, report finds. I want you to understand that there's about 330 million Americans. 7.5 million small businesses is like all of them. All of them. So the middle class will get wiped out. And commercial real estate wiped out. All of the shopping centers, all those all the small business, all going to be empty. It's going to look like Detroit. And there was some in the private group. I posted some commercial real estate and real estate as shorting opportunities to look at. Another fallout of all this, which is just makes me so angry, is monopoly corporations are benefiting because their competitors, small businesses, like I said, are all going to go out of business. And they're going to keep their monopolies and grow even bigger and have more power and turn this world into Blade Runner, Orwellian, nightmare. And they're the ones who are getting the big bailouts. The peasants are getting crumbs. 1200. What is that gonna? That was your grocery for the past 2 months for a family. All right.